And we are live. What's going on, guys? Johnny here with our Learn to Earn team. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your morning, great start to your day. Today is January 29th, 2026, and it is 7:27 my time. Bitcoin is at 87,764. QQQ is at 633. So very interesting. A lot of consolidation over the last couple of days. And let's see here. I know Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla reported their earnings last night after market closed. Apple will be reporting their earnings today. Let's go ahead and see. Ooh, Microsoft. Oh, man. Down. Microsoft tumbles on disappointing earnings growth. Microsoft is down 8.5% or $42. That is just unfortunate. Tesla kind of flatlined here. Not much going on with Tesla. Tesla invests $2 billion in Musk AI. Reiterates cyber cab production. Tesla invests $2 billion. Same thing. LE Energy Solution Q4 operating loss narrows on energy storage demand. Hyundai Motor Q4 profit skids due to U.S. tariffs, but humanoid robot hope boost shares. Tesla gains pre-market as Musk announces shift to robotics. Yeah, he wants to stop producing one of their Tesla vehicles to start making more humanoid robots. So they are up about 1%, but doesn't seem to have affected anything very much on that. Meta is also up. Annual capital expenditures to rise. Meta's rising capex is fueled by high pay for AI workers. Interesting. Meta gains Zuckerberg double down on AI vision. So they are up 10%. Meta is up 10% overnight. So they did very well with their earnings. QQQ beginning to sell off slightly. Bitcoin also selling off a little. DDC Enterprise buys 100 more Bitcoin, raising holdings to 1783. So let's see. We did get some MSTU today, and it looks like MSTU is taking a big dump here. We're going to add another 10 shares. Market is officially open. 816. Going to add another 10 shares. Now we had 50 shares right at pre-market. I went ahead and got in on MSTU long. So our average share price was like 840, I believe. Now it's about 834. I'm going to add another 10 at 815. All right, all right, all right. Add another 10 at 808. MSTR within buy range, as you can see here, right along that support area. Would love to see a nice rebound on Bitcoin. Now, of course, Bitcoin could go lower, but I believe we'll get some selling pressure, and then we'll get a nice big rally, maybe off of 87, if not potentially off of 87.6, potentially off of 87.2. So just buying a few more down in this level here. as this was a big reaction. No change in direction at the moment. Take our cost basis off and that off. Let's see, Bitcoin not doing much. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing today? Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ selling off slightly this morning. We'll see if we get a nice little recovery here. Meta is up 10% today. That's fantastic. Coming back down just a tad here. All right. If you guys have any companies or anything you want me to take a look at during this live stream or have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask in the comments section. If you are subscribed, you can chat with us. And for some reason, if you're unable to comment, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you will be able to comment in our live stream. Let's take a look at a couple other companies here. QQQ selling off. Got SoFi kind of flatlining this morning. I'm staying right around $25. Netflix selling off down to 83. Getting rejected off of that moving average. Hood also still on this lower end. AG&C back down to $12. Now, AG&C does report, or they do have their ex-dividend date tomorrow, so this would be the last day to get in. If you want to do a dividend capture for tomorrow, they paid 12 cents per share. So if you had 100 shares held by tomorrow, you'd lock in about $12 in dividends. Now, it does pay monthly. It does pay monthly, so that is 12 cents every single month, which is very interesting. MSTR selling off pretty crazy this morning. Hi. Morning. MSTR trying to bounce back. This could be the bottom. Go ahead and buy a few more right here at 8. Now what is 802? So we're in 99 shares. Would have liked to get just a few more shares on this, but that is okay. Could have a really nice recovery here. About 10%, maybe $80 or so, just to the moving average. That'd be very nice. Just waiting to see what happens on this one. Bitcoin is actively selling off. Now Bitcoin has been bouncing off of about 87,200, so we'll see if we get a little bounce off of this or if it's just going to begin to sell off even more. Usually when I short MSTR, I would short it with MSTZ, and MSTZ pushed up today. As you can see here, MSTZ, I was gonna take this side, and I was like, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't take this side of the trade. We'll go long today instead of short. And yeah, it's already up 7%, or about $1 per share for MSTZ. Getting rejected off of that moving average. Go, big recovery. Means MSTR should have a nice big recovery. MSTU, my average share price on this is 827, so a little high. Probably could have waited a little longer to get a better average, but 827 isn't bad. That's literally right here. I know we had somebody in the Discord. I think he has like an 840 average, right around that support level there. Oh yeah, PDIE, how you doing? Good morning. He said he picked up 25 shares at $7.90 for a nice little dip buy. 250 shares at $8.50 average. Not worried. Love to see it. Love to see it. Recovering very nicely. Big dip buy opportunity. Glad we were able to get in on that. Chart settings. Yeah, my cost basis is 827. This is where all my buys are this morning. I bought 50 shares pre-market at 841. Buying a few here in this area, so yeah, excited for this to recover. Now QQQ, we're gonna get this retest off of this level here. It's gonna act as a support. We'll see if it holds. It's kind of bouncing right off of that moving average here. So I'd love to see a nice support from that level here today. Remember, old resistance levels can become new support levels. So we'll see if this bounces or if we actually start seeing more of a sell-off on QQQ. Bitcoin recovered just as fast as it sold off. I like looking at the 5-minute time frame on Bitcoin here. Looks like it regained some strength, dipping off of 87,400. See if that continues or if we get some more selling pressure. MSTR back down to 152 for the first time in a while, actually. It's gotten as low as 149 back on January 2nd. But for the most part, it tends to bounce right around 155 levels. It tends to bounce, so we'll see. This makes a new low. If MSTR follows its pattern by going up to 164, these MSTU buys will be sold at about 9:30. give or take, for a nice profit of 80 cents. Yep, that's exactly what I was kind of looking at too. We also got to understand risk, making sure that we manage our risk as well. Um, 930 would be beautiful, right around that level. I'm thinking it could potentially get rejected off with a moving average around $9, which would still be nice if you're buying around 790s. Nice dollar per share. Even at 8, of course, 8 to 9, that's $1 per share. So I'm looking at about $9. See if it plays out that way. It's got a little ways to go to get back to support, which now has a support of about 786. Very low support on MSTU. Now, MSTR is in that buy range area, as we indicated here. Anything between this level would be considered a buy. Anything in these red lines here would be considered a sell. And MSTR pushed up to 190 previously, so that would be amazing for MSTU if it could push up to what's that, 1261. That'd be massive. That'd be a 56% profit. So we'll see what happens here. What's the RSI and MSTR? Should be close to being oversold. Yeah, it definitely is. RSI just moments ago was at a 9. On the 5-minute, it was also at like a 10. So extremely oversold on the RSI. MACD also super low. On the 4-hour, it's right around the 30. Again, still very low. So this could begin to curl over, go back to 60s or even 70s. So yeah, we're in a good spot. We have a good average here. Do have a good average. Bitcoin to 87,500. QQQ is actively selling off though. That's the only thing. MSTR can follow the overall market just as much as it could follow Bitcoin. So if we get more selling pressure on QQQ, we could see, MSTR fall a little bit with it. So we want to make sure that we're aware of that. MSTR tends to do better when QQQ is bullish. And Bitcoin obviously being bullish. Bitcoin is selling off today. Now let's see any events going on. I know we had our earnings last night for Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla. Today, I believe, is Apple. Apple earnings today. After market close. What else? Let's see here. Tomorrow is the December PPI inflation data report. And then the Fed interest rate decision was yesterday as well. I'm actually curious as to what happened on that. So I'm going to bring that information up. Yesterday, come on, load. Okay, let's see. Wednesday. Fed interest rate decision was the same. It's in line with expectations. They were expecting 3.75 interest rate and they got a 3.75. So there was no change in the interest rate decision. Today, continuing jobless claims was better than expected, slightly better than expected. Initial jobless claims was a little bit worse than expected. Why is it doing this to me? Trade balance for November was worse than expected. So that's interesting. Letting the team know that we're going long on Bitcoin. Holding 100 shares of MSTU. Just to let our team know. Some of them can't attend the live stream. All right, PDIE is on it. PDIE. What's a nickname or a first name that I could use for you? Because I sound crazy saying PDIE every time I mention your name. Should I just say PD? Hey, there you go. PD is a good one. I know we have another guy named Pokey8. Pokey8, are you still with us this morning? I know he's someone who's been in our live streams in the past. All right, Bitcoin recovering. Love to see it. Let's see what QQQ is doing. QQQ should be recovering slightly. It was for a moment. All right. Looks like Bitcoin is going to sell off a little bit more. A lot of consolidation in this area right here. MSTZ was a beautiful move today. 1485 to 1575, a nice 6% here. But usually when it hits this resistance, it usually begins to get rejected. Let me go to the 1 hour. So it's becoming oversold. As you can see in this area here, MSTZ should begin to pull back. Same with MSTR. Should begin to push up. Andrew, what's up, man? How you doing? How are you doing today? Yeah, everything's pretty much in the red today, for the moment, anyways. Bitcoin down to 87.4. Chilling at work right now. Okay. We're watching Bitcoin sell off. 87.3. And you ever feel like the market's against you sometimes? Like, I'm going long for the first time on Bitcoin, and it's continuously selling off. Even though I would have shorted it, the risk to reward on going long is far better than continuing to short it. Do you guys ever feel like that sometimes? Like the market's against you? Like, I bought a specific company last year, and it was going up, 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 and it was going up for days. And then it seemed like the second I bought it, it started selling off. And I was like, wow, well, that's the end of that run, right? But sometimes you just are a little late to the run, a little late to the opportunity. Sometimes you're a little early, and it's all about having patience and discipline, understanding key levels, and making sure that you follow your trade plan. Sometimes a plan won't go in your favor right away. It could take a day or two, and sometimes your trade plan just straight up doesn't work. So, no point getting discouraged about it. The market doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about me. Um, it's gonna react the way it reacts. Bitcoin down to 87.2. Big sell off here for Bitcoin today. MSTR down to 151. Again, a pretty major sell off here. A new low, 151.02. MSTU down to 778. I'm gonna buy 10 more shares. Let's go, I'll just do like 13 more shares. That's 782. So we're buying a few more here, which would give us what, 112? 112 shares at an 822 average. 822 average. So it's a little up there. It's a little high. Obviously, I have some shares in some swing trades, so I'm not able to go full size completely. I think I got like $1,200 in some swing trades, which are also all pretty much down right now. Hood bouncing off of 101.63 and rising. AG&C obviously selling off. They do have their ex-dividend date tomorrow for a dividend, so not surprised. Down about 1%. Netflix also down to, let's see, what is this? 83.36. Yeah, usually this supports right around 102, so I'm gonna leave this here at 102. MSTU is officially down 10%, so we should see a nice little rally. SoFi also down slightly at 24.82 this morning. It's actually up 1%, it says, from yesterday, so we could begin to see some of these companies begin to trail up. QQQ still actively selling off, and not as much. It's consolidating more or less around 627. and 628. On the 1 hour time frame, not looking so good. On the 4 hour, we'll see if we bounce off this 45 EMA for another leg up. Also on the 4 hour, RSI is around 44, so it's becoming extremely oversold. Bitcoin's selling off even more, down to 87.1. Breaking a little bit of that support here. We'll see if it bounces off of 87. See if it bounces off of 87,000. MSTR down 5%, down to 150. Now this has gotten as low as 149.75 recently. So we'll see if we get a bounce off of 149.75. Yeah, big sell-off by MSTR today. MSTZ up to $16. Again, this has rallied up to 1763 before. So it is becoming in that overbought range for MSTZ. MSTR is definitely in that oversold range. MSTZ over 16, would have thought that it'd be a buy at 1548 earlier. Yeah, I mean, there's no way of knowing. I saw it this morning holding above the moving average. I saw it around 1485, and I made a quick decision to either go long or short on Bitcoin. And again, today we're on the wrong side, at least for the moment, up 8% or $1.32 per share. And that does happen sometimes, guys. Something that sells off from $10 pushes all the way up to 16. I mean, that is just fantastic. That's a 60% move in about 2 weeks, which only means MSTR is selling off, you know, from 190s down to 149. It's down 21% in 15 days. So thinking that it could recover obviously creates a lot of hype and makes people, you know, want to get in on MSTR even more. But this thing is just selling off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin losing 87,000. It is now down to 86.8. And when you look at the 4 hour, I mean, it makes sense. It's been getting rejected off of this moving average for a couple of days now. Let's see, it all started about 9 days ago. It's been having trouble getting above this moving average. So there's a little bit more support here around 86.5. You could also say 86 even would be another area of support. And then you get into the lower time frames like 84 and 80,000. So it is very risky going long on Bitcoin. That's why I love shorting it so much, because it just makes sense to short Bitcoin right now, especially with the overall market selling off, and it is. Markets are selling off down to 625 from highs of 637, and this wasn't, you know, weeks ago. This was literally yesterday. Yesterday was at 637, now down to 624 and actively dropping. Trump slams Powell for holding rates, says he's hurting our country. Trump's on again, off again, tariffs damaging U.S. standings. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see if we can get this to push up a little bit. News, Meta Planet share slide 3.5% after 127 million Bitcoin focused capital raise. Gold soars toward 5,600 while Bitcoin falls. Pro ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF down 1.3%. Bitcoin flat at 88,000. Oh, now it's down to 86.5. Yeah, also um MSTR isn't really necessarily in a good place to begin with. I mean, whether Bitcoin is selling off or not, MSTR is really in trouble as far as, you know, basically selling off this entire time, from highs of 543 now down 70%. We're not going to be getting any swift recovery anytime soon. And that's why I love shorting it so much, because it's kind of a BS company. They're actually having to, you know, liquidate shares to pay their dividends for another company for their shareholders. So it's very scary to want to go long on MSTR, and that's why I love shorting MSTR so much. But now we're to the point where, even shorting it right now is shorting it. So MSTR is so oversold, it wouldn't make sense to continue shorting it right now. But it's not making any new highs or any type of a reversal, so it wouldn't make any sense to go long on it either right now. So very scary. I mean, we just made a new low on MSTR, 148. 148 is a new low in quite some time, since September of 2024. It has not been at lows like this since September and October of 2024, guys. Look at that. Huge. Just pushed up and came all the way back down. So, and that's kind of the thing for everything. Everything's selling off right now. Um, MSTR started their sell off when they diluted their shares so much to buy more BTC. It's a Ponzi scheme, essentially. Yeah, I think people are realizing that now. I'd love to see a bounce on Bitcoin here at 86, but I don't. If it doesn't bounce at 86, I may just have to cut my losses on the MSTU position. This thing, look at this. I bought up here when I should have been shorting it all along. Beautiful move. 1485 to 16, 10%, $1.51 per share. 150 bucks today on MSTZ. Whereas I'm probably almost down that much. Yep, down about 7% right now. That's what I said. Sometimes it just feels like the market's against you. You know what I mean? It's crazy how much this can sell off, but there's only a matter of time. I mean, QQQ was at highs of 637, and then it went to 636. It couldn't break above that new high. I mean, it pushed up from 605 to 637. If you look back, 637.96 or 638 was a previous resistance. So it pushed all the way up from 600 to 637, came all the way down to 579, kind of tested this, started pushing up, and then gets rejected again at 637. So, history does tend to repeat itself. That's why I like range trading, um, trading patterns, trading support and resistance levels. It'd make more sense to go long if QQQ was at 600, validating support, But man, it really dropped at that 637 level, just like clockwork. Got rejected here in this area, and you can put a little square there, and now it got rejected in this area. So beautiful example of it validating resistance. And I think it validated resistance very well. Oh, it's a big line. I'll make that a little smaller here. So yeah, a little scary to see the market selling off so aggressively today. But that's how it is sometimes. The markets can be very aggressive. Market's beginning to show some signs of consolidation around 623. We'll see if it holds up. And all my positions are in the red. 2% down on Netflix today, 2% down on Hood, down 1% on AG&C. MSTR trying to recover here, as Bitcoin is trying to bounce off of a previous support of 86,000. And just as fast as it could sell off, it could recover. Man, what a trade today. Down 8%. 8% on this position. And usually I try to cut my losses at around 1 to 2%. But sometimes it's okay to hold your position too if your trade plan makes sense. There's nothing wrong with holding either. Man, I'm gonna have to cut my losses. This thing is just selling off. How low can it go, guys? This is insane. Yeah, I definitely should have got out when I could. Definitely wanted to short it today. Whew. Dang. 10%. 10% and pushing even more. Pushing higher. MSTR down to 148. Bitcoin down to 85.8. Breaking another support level. $85.5. And this thing go all the way down to 80. And look at this. It's almost back to April 2025 levels. I mean, it is technically. April 2025 levels was around 75,000 to 85,000 in February to April. Isn't that insane? From 75 to 126,000, up 68%. Now down 32%. Pushes up, sells off, pushes up, sells off. We're definitely looking for a rally at this point. But a lot of consolidation, more than usual, it seems like. Um, Good call out here. VIX up to 19. So when, VIX usually is around 20 or higher, markets tend to be more volatile and also tend to sell off more as well. So good call out, PD. You are absolutely correct. QQQ testing that moving average on the 1 hour time frame, 622.71. On the 4 hour, it did break that 45 EMA. Still very bullish on the daily, but so no break of pattern necessarily on the daily time frame. But yeah, just unfortunate. What a huge, huge red candle today. I mean, massive red candle. Compared to all the other days, that candle is huge. I think we've only had one other day like that recently. On January 2nd, we had a huge red candle. And then on December 17th, we had a huge red day. We had a couple big red days in December. On the 12th, the 15th, and the 17th. And then this was a crazy day. November 20th, huge red candle this day. 5% move. 5% sell off for the NASDAQ in a single day. I mean, are we kind of repeating that today? That's what it seems like. From pre-market to where it is now, a 2% sell off. And it doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. It looks like it's going to continue to sell off. It's consolidating a little bit here. Bitcoin down to 85.5. It's to the point where it's so oversold. Look at these red candles, guys. Holy moly. I'm going to have to get out of my position. I'm going to have to get out. What are we down, 100? Oh my gosh. Holy moly. That's why I love shorting MSTR so much. I love shorting it because it's such a BS piece of crap company. Same with Bitcoin. It's all bull crap. It's all bull crap. Holy moly. MSTZ up to almost $17. Beautiful. Up 15%. It's up 15% from pre-market, 13%, $2, $200 day. Doing what I normally would do. I normally short the crap out of MSTR. 13% move, $2 per share pre-market. And I just traded the wrong side. I traded the wrong side of it today. Down about $1 per share. Look at these huge sell-offs, little bit of green. Sell-off, little bit of green. Sell-off, little bit of green. I'm going to get a little bit of green again and sell off. Or the second I sell my position, it'll begin to rally. That happens too. There we go. Starting to see a little bit of a pullback here. See what QQQ is doing. It's trying to hold above 622. Crazy day for sure. We've already been live for about 50 minutes. 50 minutes, so yeah, crazy. Crazy day in the market again. Meta still up 7% from yesterday. Microsoft down 11%. I mean, that's definitely what's driving the market down. Yeah, just a super overbought company. Microsoft price target to 615 from 630. I mean, slightly lower, but still well above the 426. This one says 580 from 640, 590. So 580 to 590 price target. That's still well above 427 though, so people are crazy. Tesla selling off, down about 2%. Says Tesla will remain a 600 price target. Dang, JP Morgan cuts target price to 145 from 150 for Tesla. That's insane. That's a huge low price. Same thing, 125 from 130 by Wells Fargo. Some people are saying to maintain around 500. 500, 438. Wow. 352. So they raised the price target to 352 from 300. So people are saying, or analysts are saying, this can go down to 125 to as high as 600. It's very mixed emotion or mixed signals on Tesla. I believe Tesla can go down to $300 myself. QQQ trying to recover here. Back up to 624. Bitcoin down to 85,000, guys. 85,190. Just completely insane. Creating a new low for MSTR down to 146. That is insane. An insane low, insane range now for MSTR. And why wouldn't it, right? It's been selling off this whole time. When you look at the 4-hour time frame, it's done nothing but sell off from 459, touches this moving average, gets rejected, touches moving average, gets rejected, continuing to get rejected, and just completely sell off below this moving average. So I think this could technically be broken almost. I mean, man, crazy low, 727 on MSTU. That is just insane. Insane. Completely getting rejected yesterday and a couple of days ago. I'm literally going to have to cut my losses. Recovered slightly. We're only down 96 bucks now, but I just, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I was never a big believer in Bitcoin anyways. That's why I love shorting it so much, because I've never been a big believer in Bitcoin or MSTR in general. But now showing signs of recovery here. QQQ also beginning to recover. We held it on the way down. Now it's a matter of holding it on the way up. Just as fast as Bitcoin can sell off, remember, Bitcoin can recover. We've had some big recoveries in the past. Like even this one from 90 to 97. Huge recovery, all in a matter of 2 days, up 7%. So I'd love to see obviously a nice recovery from Bitcoin. Even a 4% recovery is not unheard of. 7% would put us back in the 90s. Wow, wow, wow. Crazy. QQQ, a lot of consolidation. Thank you. Trade your plan, not your emotions. Got the coffee cup. Thinking about eventually selling some merchandise, whether it's my own or affiliate market some other people's products, because I really like this. It's a high quality cup. Making it available to you guys. Bouncing off of that moving average on the 1 hour time frame. So we'll see how this recovers. Looks like it's recovering pretty well here. A lot of consolidation, which means we could be showing signs of a reversal setup now. Bitcoin to 85.4. Begin to see some signs of consolidation, I would imagine, here at this level. You know, should have probably let this sell off a little bit more before jumping in to MSTU. Let's see, what was my average? 822. 822 is my average. Dang. Way up there. Way up there for sure. Down 95. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's see you recover. QQQ's recovering pretty nicely. Consolidating at least. We're going to see another leg down. 622 was a pretty nice low. And we kind of call it 622.71 was the 200-day moving average. And it looks like on this candle, it got down to a low of 622.70. Yeah, 622.70. So almost perfectly 622.71, literally 1 cent off of that moving average. That is insane. Beautiful bounce right off of that level. Like insanely perfect bounce off of that moving average. 622.70 is right there. When you draw it on the 1 hour, I mean, like clockwork, just beautiful bounce right off. We'll see if it holds. We will see if it holds. Insane. Sometimes the ROI or the trade plan might make sense in your head, but when you look back at like the overall fundamentals of certain things, it doesn't make sense, right? Like Bitcoin and MSTR are kind of crap right now. They used to be cool, but they're kind of crap now. Just like with SoundHound AI has great profit potential. Down at $9 because it pushed up to $25 and $22 before. But right now it just doesn't move that way. It's a crap company and it's still continuing to sell off. LUNR, same thing with this one. You know, this thing used to trade between $8 and $14 like clockwork. It'd go down to 8, it'd go up to 14, you'd sell. Go down to 8 again, go up to 14, you'd sell. Now it's so overbought, if you touch this thing, it's just going to sell off. But not showing any indication that it even is selling off. It's continuously making new highs, but it's so overbought in my eyes, this isn't something I would want to short either. So history does tend to repeat itself for a while. Like, do you guys see what I'm seeing right there as far as, let's see, the yellow line? It kind of traded within this range for quite some time, kind of within this nice little range. Then it had a range breakout, and none of this even matters now. I mean, there's a huge range now on this. Massive range. You can go up to 25 and then get rejected. Same with sound. It could push up from 9s, but it could also sell off to 6s. It could sell off to 4s, to 5s. Even $1.50. Sound used to be a penny stock. Not that long ago. Back in February of 2024, it was a penny stock trading around $2 or $3. MSTR, kind of the same thing. MSTR used to be around 13 bucks. Imagine buying in the 200s or the 150s and then it sell off to $13. Pretty crazy. Massive sell-offs. It is trying to hold above 146. QQQ to 623, and still looks like it's going to be selling off. So our live stream's been about an hour. I will keep you guys all updated on what I'm going to do with my position, if I'm going to sell, if I'm going to add, or what I'm doing exactly with it. I appreciate your guys' time. Remember, let's end the year on a green note, and you guys all have a great rest of your day. See you later, team.